Hi everybody, my name is McNally. I'm an acoustic guitar maker from County Armagh, and we're here in my workshop with Shane Hennessy to talk about his new signature model OM. So Shane, I think it was back in January of this year, it was about 9 months ago, I first got in touch with you about maybe looking to do a project on some guitars, and initially I think you expressed a bit of concerns. What were they kind of around working on custom guitars?
The main thing for me is most luthier built guitars that I had tried generally don't suit my style because it can be very dynamic, very percussive. I go from things where I'm really beating the guitar to things where I'm playing really gently. A lot of the stuff that I do with the thumb pick, the kind of the Chet Atkins style thumb picking that I do, and the flat picking, it's very hard to get one guitar that suits that whole style. The other thing for me as well is that because up to March of this year that I was touring so much, I was never really that focused on, having that nice acoustic guitar. I always wanted something I could plug in and depend on the stage. So when I got that initial message, I kind of thought, right, this is going to be, another guitar builder contacting me saying, oh, would you like to try one of my guitars? And then going down that rabbit hole and ending up saying, no, I prefer what I have already.
Yeah, that was really interesting to me, and actually kind of spurred me on probably to maybe push you more into this project, because the idea of working with you on a very stage focused guitar was not only going to be a challenge for me, but just a really interesting prospect. And like you said, something maybe that most luthiers maybe don't put the same kind of attention into. So the idea of getting you a guitar that would work really well for stage and work for your style of playing, which, as you say, it's really dynamic, it's really snappy, it's so lively. It was a new challenge for me. I was really excited about that. But part of the project too was recognizing that when you needed a guitar that was very rich, very high sustaining, that you would do studio work with, and you would mic up rather than plug in, you would need another guitar, that we weren't going to be able to cover it with one guitar. And that's why I made you two. And in a way, these guitars are really quite polar opposite. This one, the attack is quite short, and it's lively and it's snappy and it responds to you instantly, but it doesn't carry on for very long. And that suits the pickup, which we'll talk about. This one is much richer, the sound swells and envelops, the sustain is much longer, it's more complex, and if you stick a mic in front of it, it's going to give you a really rich sound. But this one, I guess this guitar is mostly about the pickup, which is from Udo Roesner, and that's a contact that you brought me onto. So do you want to tell us how you know Udo? And
yeah, I met Udo years ago at the Frankfurt Music Messe, and at the time he was with a different company that he founded, but he's a big name in the world of acoustic amplification, acoustic amplifiers, and so he had made contact with me saying that he was releasing new amplifiers and he had these ideas under his own name. So he said, would you be interested in trying out a pickup, trying out, the new amp that I've made? So I said yes to everything. And to be honest, he is a huge part of the reason that this guitar exists, because the guitars that I was, that I was playing, I still really like them, and the pickup system is fantastic in them as well. But I thought that if there's one person who could match that system, it would be Udo, and I think he has, because I've heard it said loads of times by different people that it's not that it's easy to make a good guitar, but there's a certain art to it, but getting a pickup right is hard, and getting a pickup to sound the way you want it is difficult as well. So the pickup in this guitar is, it's a prototype pickup at the moment, but it's what will be known as the bracket system. And I was very intent on getting a side mounted pickup for this as well, because if I'm on stage with this, I don't want to be messing around, going down to my pedal board trying to change EQ on the fly or trying to change the microphone amount. I just want everything to be nice and easy and beside me. Whereas the other pickup that he sent through, we put into this guitar, that's his hash pickup, which doesn't have any mounted controls. The controls are inside the sound hole here. But because I play with the feedback buster, the sound hole covers so much, I can't, take that out and start messing with the controls in the middle of a song. I want to be able to do it quickly and get straight back to playing. So that was, to be honest, I think that probably 50% of the reason that this exists is him.
Yeah, it was just a kind of serendipitous coming together of a few things that made the project work, probably. I mean, we started working on it in January, but then of course COVID hit, and this was a guitar that became developed in lockdown, and we had a lot of Zoom calls and FaceTimes with you in the south, me in the north, Udo in Germany. At one stage I was still in England as well, and this guitar was kind of being made, and we were conversing about how it should be made and the way it should be. Really, the guitar is like a lesson in restraint in order to let the pickup do most of the work for you. So it is built differently than most McNally guitars. There's extra braces on the soundboard. All the braces are thicker and heavier because you're quite percussive when you play. In particular, there's 2 braces on the soundboard where you would tend to tap a lot, because you were saying on previous guitars you always got a squeak.
Yeah.
So we're trying to avoid that.
Yeah, I've always had issues there on the guitar with, you know, my wrist kind of making the struts come loose.
Yeah. Well, there's extra struts now, and they're actually interlocked into the nearest struts and interlocked into the sides. The sides on this guitar are also thicker than what I would normally do. The back is slightly heavier. Just on the other features of the guitar, it's a matte nitrocellulose finish, so it's quite thin and flexible, but obviously you're not getting squeaky noises, and it's very tactile in your hand. The inside of the guitar is also lacquered, which is the first time I've ever done that, but that's to try and help the guitar travel better, and that it's less susceptible to changes in temperature. Because
well, that's one of the things I said to you at the start, is like, if I have to, you know, if we're going to go down this road, I need something that's very playable, you know, nearly feels like an electric guitar more than an acoustic guitar. You know, and I think the way I said it at the time was that I wanted it to sound tight and feel loose, if you get me, so that I could play it and it would still feel kind of loose here, but as soon as you hear the sound of it, it still sounds tight.
Yes.
And then for me, the whole idea of, you know, touring with it and traveling with it and, you know, protecting against humidity and temperature changes and everything, that I think will make a huge difference.
Yeah. It's a sturdy built guitar, but it's actually still quite lightweight, because we chose woods specifically that were light in weight. You've got Sitka spruce on the top, walnut back and sides. The bridge, fingerboard and headstock is all Santos rosewood. And again, yeah, just they're lightweight woods, so like I say, even though it's quite sturdy.
And that fret wire as well, like that was one of the other things I talked about getting that harder material.
Yeah, so that's Evo Gold fret wire, so that's slightly harder than standard fret wire. It's not quite stainless steel, but it's just a little bit harder, so it should last longer for you as you hopefully when you get going again, you're traveling a lot again. It's also, like I said, it's got a little bit of a gold tinge, and I think it suits the aesthetic of the guitar with the gold decal, the gold machine heads.
And the harp in the middle as well.
And the harp in the middle, I mean, that's really quite a unique feature. As you told me, you nearly always play with a feedback buster, and we were trying to work this harp in somewhere. This is something that's been on your other guitars. And we just decided, let's make a feature of it. So that's the same wood as that exact back, and we just put a harp on the front of it. That's still removable though, and you can play fully acoustically.
Well, what I like about it in particular, having played it for, you know, 2 weeks or 3 weeks or so now, is that you know, it really sustains, which I think is really important. Because I know that you can make a guitar that has a lot of attack and the note dies quickly, but still, when I play this guitar, I don't feel like I'm missing anything as such. But I would probably say to someone looking to buy one that it's not the kind of guitar you'd sit at home and play it on your couch. You know, it's a real instrument for someone who wants a good stage guitar, because if you want a guitar that you're going to sit down on the couch and play, you get this. You know, if you're like me and you're gigging and you need something you can depend on and something that's kind of road ready, you know, this is like a hiking boots versus formal shoes.
Exactly, that's pretty good analogy. The neck as well is a custom size for you. It's a 44mm, and it's a slightly thinner profile on the back with a slight D shape as well, which is different from my normal guitars as well. So that's about it, and it is available now for other people to buy, and it'll come, as you see it here, with the finalized Udo pickup. It also comes with a mono gig bag, because again, the idea of giving you a big hard case to lug around all over the world wasn't really going to do it. So a proper gig bag is really what this guitar needs. So that's about it. There'll be more details and specs on the website if anyone wants to find out more about this guitar.